What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, coming at you with my hands-on and first impressions video of the LG Aristo 5. So let's get started. So this is the LG Aristo 5, one of the latest budget devices being offered by Metro by T-Mobile and T-Mobile. Now, I've got to say, just starting off the video here, this phone is a lower end device. It does feature an MSRP of $159.99. Now, I personally would not pay over $100 for this phone. In fact, I'd imagine that most people that do get it likely would be getting it because it is being offered either for free or for a very good promo price. So definitely make sure to go over to your local carrier store to see what deals they're offering on it, as I'm sure you can snag it for a very good discount. But with all that said, let's take a look at everything that is included here in the box. Now, I did already set up the phone for the sake of saving time, so we'll put that off to the side. Also, you can see Aristo 5 branding on the box itself. But we'll put the phone off to the side for a second and we'll see what else we get. So we do have an Aristo 5 quick start guide. If I can get it out of here. There we go. Whoops. So Aristo 5 quick start guide. We have a micro USB cable for charging and data transfer. So yes, unfortunately, this phone does feature a micro USB port on the bottom. Now, for some people, that might actually be a good thing if you have a bunch of micro USB ports already. It just depends, but I prefer USB-C. We also have an LG wall adapter, and this wall adapter is 10 watts, so pretty decent there. And here is the actual LG Aristo 5 itself. Now, this phone is technically the successor to the LG Aristo 4 Plus, which was launched about a year ago. And to my understanding, this phone is a really big improvement because the LG Aristo 4 Plus really wasn't that great. Now, if you have one right now and you like it, then just know that the Aristo 5 will be a very big improvement then. So that's definitely something to be excited about. Now, the LG Aristo 5 features a 5.7-inch display. The display itself is LCD at 720p. We're getting a PPI of 295 and a 19:9 aspect ratio. So certainly compared to many of the other devices that I've covered recently here on the channel, and also many of the other phones that have made their way over to Metro, the display on this one is a little bit smaller than what we're used to. But at the same time, that might be good if you are someone that does want a phone that's maybe a little bit easier to hold and use, and also easier to put in your pocket. It just depends on your personal preferences. Now, the display itself looks pretty good to me. Now, even though it is 720p, things do look decently crisp and clear, so that's definitely awesome. Now, up top here, we do have a notch for the front-facing camera, and the camera itself is 5 megapixels. Now, internally here with the Aristo 5, we're getting 32 gigabytes of storage with microSD card expansion up to an additional 32 gigs. So that's pretty decent as well. There's no wireless charging here with the phone, but we do get a fingerprint sensor on the back. So we'll give that a try right now. And that's a pretty fast fingerprint sensor. There is no face unlock with the phone, unfortunately. So beyond using a PIN code, you are limited to just using the fingerprint sensor. Now, also on the back side of the phone, we do have a dual camera setup with a 13 megapixel main camera and a 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera. So the main camera is great for day-to-day photos, but the ultra wide really does come in handy if you want to take photos of your surroundings, for example, or to change things up a little bit. Now, we do get portrait mode with the front and rear cameras on this device, which is a great thing to see. But here it is through the viewfinder. This is with the front-facing camera, of course, and then we can switch over to portrait mode, and you get those nice blurred out backgrounds. So it is cool that we do get all these various features with this device, despite it being a very entry-level phone. Then we can flip around to the rear camera, and then we get portrait mode, of course, we get the standard photo mode, and then we get the ultra wide angle camera, which you can see allows us to fit a lot more content into the frame here. Now, internally with the LG Aristo 5, we're getting 2 gigabytes of RAM and the MediaTek Helio P22. Now, neither of those two specifications are necessarily that impressive, but the phone does seem to be nicely optimized and does perform decently well. Now, compared to a mid-range device or especially a flagship, this will be significantly slower, but everything does work, which is a good thing. Now, of course, I'm gonna have to use the phone a bit more before I know for sure for the final review video, but for now, I'm pretty satisfied so far. Now, I did run a benchmark test here with the phone, and I'll show you the scores from that right now. But I got a single core score of 137 and a multi-core score of 486. So what I recommend doing is installing Geekbench 5 on your current device and then comparing the scores from that phone to this phone to see if this phone really will be giving you a performance upgrade. Now, video recording with the LG Aristo 5 maxes out at 1080p. With the phone, we're getting a pretty large 3000 milliamp hour internal battery, which is pretty impressive. And the software on here is Android 10 with LG Skin laid over it. So again, I'm pretty impressed so far with the software experience. Things do seem to be running well. And in general, it seems like the Helio P22 and 2 gigs of RAM does a decent job at keeping up with things. But now that we've gone over the main specifications for the LG Aristo 5, let's take a closer look at the hardware. So I already talked quite a bit about the front panel here, but we are getting a water drop notch at the top, and then we are getting kind of a thicker bottom bezel. But in general, I do think it's a pretty decent looking phone. Now taking a look at the left side of the phone, we have the volume up, volume down, we have the Google Assistant button, which I feel is pretty pointless personally, and we have the slot for the micro SD card and SIM card. Then on the right side of the phone, we have the power button, then up top we have the noise canceling microphone, and then on the bottom, we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, microphone, micro USB port for charging and data transfer, and we have the speaker. And then on the back side of the phone, we have the camera module and the fingerprint sensor. And you can see looking at the build of the phone, it is one giant plastic piece on the sides and back, but the phone itself does feel pretty sturdy and solid, so I really don't have any complaints when it comes to the build quality. But in general, the LG Aristo 5 looks like a pretty interesting phone here from Metro. But in general, it seems like the Aristo 5 is definitely a solid successor to the previous LG Aristo 4 Plus, and I'm really curious to know what everyone thinks about it. And again, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the MSRP of $159.99 is certainly very overpriced, but again, no one's going to be paying that much for the phone. The majority of people out there are going to be probably getting this phone for free with a port-in deal, or they're going to be getting the phone for a very significant discount. And for me personally, I don't think I would buy this for any more than $100. But I hope you enjoyed this video about the LG Aristo 5. If you have any specific requests beyond the review, let me know in the comment section below. But this is Kevin here, and I will see you in the next video.